Welcome to this clip from my Twitch stream of where I am playing some random game, maybe Elden Ring or Hogwarts Legacy right now. Hopefully you enjoy and stick around to the end. The hardest, and these, do I need this many? Eh, why not? Easiest, okay, so hardest, easiest. Now, as far as difficulty goes, this thing's not that hard. I mean, okay, this thing can kill you. Like, this thing can kill you. I wouldn't say hard. Again, this thing can kill you. I don't think this thing's hard at all. We'll placeholder you up here. That's not hard at all. The death birds aren't bad. The death right birds are bad. There's so many. Okay, you know what? I'm just randomly cutting around. Okay. Adon, Thief of Fire. I remember when I first found him, he's a pretty cool fight. I wouldn't even entertain the fact that he's hard. He has that one big fireball. That's all I can remember because that's what you get from him. The Alabaster Lord, he's not really, I would say he's harder than Adon, but I still wouldn't consider him hard. The weaker version that summons the meteors in the cave where you fight the second Estelle is harder than him. The Death Birds, the Death Right Birds I would say is hard, but the regular Death Birds aren't much. I really don't think that the regular Death Birds that much. Thea's Champions are probably easier than Adon. The Black Knight Wrangler, I'm pretty sure, isn't this the one you fight in the jail in Ronnie's place? If it's that one, when I first fought him, I was under leveled on Wind, and it took me a bunch of tries to beat him. But on Era with the fire incantations, he wasn't much. I'll say a middle ground for that. Okay, wait a second. Is there no middle ground? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a problem. You know what we're gonna do then? I'm gonna delete this row. I want a middle ground. This thing is... I didn't find this thing till I was sober. I almost one-shot it. I didn't find it. It was like 2 hits. I didn't even know this thing existed until I was way too late in the game. Landsax was a bitch on New Game Plus. A normal New Game, it wasn't bad. On New Game Plus is when I was like, okay, I go any farther and you get New Game Plus, and Landsax gets even worse. Not hard. Okay. I fought Estelle Natural Born first time at level 70 or 80, and this boss took me so long to beat. Multiple fights. Now, I know his moveset better than any boss's moveset in the game because of how much I fought him. I don't think he's that hard. I think I was under leveled. I would say it's harder than these two, but not as hard as that. This one's harder, which is crazy that the one in the cave's harder than the actual fight, but it's whatever. This guy ain't nothing. Oh, okay. This guy is the easiest. He's like, that's like the first boss you can fight. He's like in a cave. This guy, I'll put him right here. It's like Elmer of the Briar. He's got the Darth Vader sword moves. Black Blade Kindred. Oh, that's the freaking gargoyle. Okay. I'll put you here for now. You gargoyles are tough. It's funny that I got him down here and him here. But the normal Black Knife Assassin wasn't tough. This guy is probably about right here. Maybe here. Yeah, because the first time I fought him, he's not hard, but the first impression, my first time fighting him was worse than my first time fighting anything down here. This thing I think is probably right here because that thing can kill you. It's got that death, the death spit that can kill you. Dragonkin Soldier, I would say, isn't hard. Oh, the big giant guy. This is the big giant, the big spell giant that has the giant daggers. No, he's not hard at all. He's not hard. He's about the same as a Dawn. Maybe a little bit harder than a Dawn, just because he's a giant. This dragon wasn't hard at all. All these dragons are the same, basically. They're really, especially on horseback, they're nothing on horseback. I would say I'm gonna put him in B for now. The Cemetery Shade, I'm gonna stick down here. I didn't fight it until I was way over leveled for it, which is probably gonna be a little biased. Clean Rot Knight. It's down here. Commander Nile. The first time I fought him, he was rough. But once you learn him, he's not that bad. This guy ain't nothing. He's nothing like Nile. He's harder than everything. No, he's not. He's not harder than the Bell-Bearing Hunter. Elmer gives me the Bell-Bearing Hunter gives me a harder time than Commander O'Neill. The double Crucible Knights, I'd say they're about right here. The one Crucible Knight, I'd say he's about... Crucible Knights in general are just kind of tough though. Like I would put them all right there. Like the double one, well, in fact we'll move the double one to B. These guys aren't nothing. Right here. He's just like him, but I did have a harder time with that one for some reason, maybe because I was lower level and I ended up there. But I did have a hard time with the rock one. You're about the same as this. No. Wait, is this the big badass that's hidden? Okay. Oh my god. I have to look at this. I have to make sure. Oh, whoa! I don't want you guys to miss stream. Okay. Golem Archer. Is he the big badass? I'm not sure if he's the badass or not. I can't find the information on it. It's just this is the Stormhill Golem. Is it the Guardian Golem that I'm thinking of? Oh, that's in High Road Cave. Is he on here? I don't see him on here. Okay, there was a golem I bought that was like ridiculously strong. Like it was insanely strong. I don't know if this is him or not. For the time being, if it's just a normal golem, I'm gonna stick it like right here. Because they're not really, actually, he probably needs to be down here. Probably needs to be below all the Crucible Knights. Because you just pick away at their feet. If he's that badass one, then he's gonna fly up. There's Guardian Golem. Maybe that's the badass one. Hidden Cave Golem Boss. Let me see. Let me just see. What is he called? What is this thing's name? Okay, first video I'll find some guy cheesing it with a bow. What's his name though? Does he not have a boss health bar? He don't have a boss health bar. He's not a boss, is he? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. He's not a boss? Okay, he's not a boss. That's ridiculous. That thing is like way harder than most. He'd be like way up on like A or something. Okay, Elden Beast. Well, I just took forever to beat the Elden Beast. Not hard. I wouldn't say Elden Beast is hard. It'd be like right here. Demi-human chiefs. Nothing. These are nothing. I'll put them right down there. Death right birds are something. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, let's move you down and move you two up. Demi-Human Queen, that's another one that ain't nothing. We'll put it right here. The Dracon, okay, this one I'm gonna stick here. He's not hard, but he's not easy. He's about middle of the road. Like in this one I'm gonna stick down here because it isn't hard or middle of the road. It's more easy. It's actually about the same as a normal Dragonkin, but it's got like a second phase that I didn't even see because I killed it so fast. Dragon Lord, Plastic Dragon, Plasudasax. I would say Plasudasax is harder than... Yeah, I would say Plasudasax is harder than Elden Beast. Oh my god. Elder Dragon Grail. Elden Dragon Grail. I had a viewer help me with Elden Dragon Grail to get easy runes. And I am sorry, but you are the easiest boss in the game. Elmer of the Briar. Elmer of the Briar on New Game Plus was way harder than Elmer of the Briar was in just a standard New Game. In fact, New Game Plus made me realize that Elmer of the Briar is probably going to go way up here. I know he's the same as the Bell-Bearing Hunter, but he feels harder. Erdtree Avatars. They're not hard at all. In Era, especially with all her fire incantations, the Erdtree Avatars aren't anything. Like these things melt. I'm gonna stick. Okay, they're harder. I'm gonna say they're about right there. Well, about right there. 12 point. I'd say they're harder than the Crystallians. Maybe about the same as the normal Deathbirds. The Erdtree Burial Watchdogs, these things aren't nothing. They're gonna be down in the easies. I'd say they're about right here. Yeah, they're about right there. The Priest of Blood, he's about the same. Let's put him down here, Fierce Champions. Okay, this motherfucker. Is this the one I think it is? No, it's the full grown. Okay, the normal one ain't nothing. I'd put him with the Dragonkin. Actually, I'd put him right here, the normal right here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the full grown Fallen Star Beast. This bastard took me forever to beat on Era. I never even fought him on Win. Don't think about it, I've only fought him on Era. And he was a pain. In fact, I'm gonna stick him right. It's always damn gravity monsters. Fell Twins wasn't hard. See, down here it's like I don't know who's harder or easier. They're all about the same. Like, I mean, the ones down here, like these guys are like brain dead easy. Fire Giant, my first playthrough when he was a cakewalk. My first playthrough of Era, he was a nightmare. My second playthrough of Win, he was average. And my second playthrough of Era, he was hyper easy. So I'm gonna stick him right here because he's not harder. He's not easier than any of this down here. But I wouldn't say he's harder than Elmer. I had way more hard time with Elmer. Okay, we got dragons. Okay, we got okay, every dragon. I'm actually gonna demote these dragons. I'm actually gonna demote these dragons even farther. Because every single one of you guys, besides Adula, is gonna end up right here. And Adula is gonna be up here in B. Because Adula is tougher than all of you. Mad Pumpkinhead, get down here at the rest of these. Frenzy Duelist, get down here at the rest of these. Goldfroy the Grafted, I'll put you right here. Okay, you know what? I said I was gonna go in order, but now I'm not gonna go in order anymore. A Grafted Scion. I'm gonna put you here actually. Just because you are a little more difficult. Mimic tier is going to be down here. I've never fought it with the exploit, as the get naked exploit. But the exploit exists. This thing was no harder than the other one. It's just I fought it way over level. Okay, all these like people or just rehash of normal enemies. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick in the easiest section because they are easy. Is that all of them? This thing is easy. I fought it way over leveled in Castle Morn. It was ridiculous. The Omen Killer is easy. He's nothing. 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 Okay, this I'm actually gonna bump up just because the puzzle got me. The puzzle got me so good. I literally thought I couldn't hurt the boss. Injured of Raw, just a normal enemy. I should have looked up a different boss list, like great enemies. Maybe this is Rune Bear. Okay, Rune Bear is actually gonna go up into C tier because the Rune Bears are a bitch. In fact, the Rune Bear is stronger than the Grafted Scion. In fact, the Rune Bear is stronger than Go. I'm gonna put the Rune Bear right here. Guardian Golem. I was seeking with your buddy, the Archer. Okay. About there. I got all the... What the hell's a Royal Revenant? I don't know what a Royal Revenant is. Okay, I gotta look that up. I don't know what a Royal Revenant is. Oh, fuck that thing. I know what that fucker is. I'm joking. Definitely harder than everything here, though. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of B. Those are my least favorite enemies in the game. Normal enemies, those are my least favorites. Grave Warden Duelist. Where's the Grave? You know what? I'm just gonna say everything in C is equal. Everything in C is equal. And that's fine. These guys aren't nothing either, getting C. Nice Cavalry can go to C. I think they're called DC. The Red Wolf of Radagon can go up here because he is a pain every time I fight him. Vortisax can go here. They're trees. I mean, I don't know where to say they're trees. In fact, there's another tree in here too, isn't there? The spirits are tougher than the avatars, but still, I mean, just the fire. There we go. Well, 1 second. One second. Maybe not. Yeah, that looks better right there. Right there. That looks better. Oh, another tree spirit. Again, it's a tree spirit. Burn it with fire. Onyx Lord was I don't remember him being any different than the Alabasta Lord. I don't see the Alabasta Lord. Go up. Wait a second. Let me drop these guys. Not that far. Maybe like right there instead. Am I getting down to the final few? I just fought them. They went down surprisingly easy, but I'm kind of over leveled. So, okay. The Godfrey Shade is not hard at all. He's probably a C tier as far as difficulty for me, but I put him high. I put him higher in the trees in the death bird. I put him right there. The Godskin Apostle is a C. And he's probably right there with the Shade. The Noble is harder than the Apostle. He's gonna go. The Noble is harder than everything here. The Duo is harder than the Noble because clearly it's a whole other guy there. The Duo, when I first fought them on Win, they were a very big problem. I used Ashes of War in Win's first playthrough, and I did not have them because the Noble would kill them at the start of the fight instantly. I didn't know there was a summon that I could have brought in there. I didn't know that until the last time I beat them, and I seen that there was a summon, and I'm like, well, I wasn't using summons this time, so oh well. Win's second playthrough, they were easier. Ira's first playthrough, they were awful. Ira's second playthrough, I learned they were weak to sleep pods. Or remember they were weak to sleep pods. And sleep pods makes that fight so ridiculously easy. You throw a sleep pod at one, melt them. Throw a sleep pod at the other, melt them. Patches. You're not hard. Well, not Loretta is not hard. The Magma Worm is not hard, but it's harder than all this. There's another, the other Magma Worm isn't that hard either. Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing, is not hard. We'll put Gideon about with the Shade. Fight him in the same place, he can be ranked the same. Oh, almost shot my ring. Okay. We're getting down to the heavy hitters. These are some of the toughest. I have to say, first off, Margaret the Fell Omen. The first time I fought him, I almost couldn't beat him. I had to go level up. I say Margaret is just below the Godskin Noble. I've never had an issue fighting Godric the Grafted. Godric the Grafted is really easy. In fact, I don't think he was easier than the dragons the first time I fought him. I think Godric's good right there. And okay, after Godric, Renala. Renala is harder, I believe, than Godric and Margaret, but I wouldn't say she's as hard as the Godskin Noble, so we'll put her right below the Godskin Noble. And then Radon. The first playthrough of Win Radon was easy. I used every summon there. And I rode back and forth and slapped him in the leg, and I beat him on my first try. When Ira went there with all her fancy incantations, he was noticeably harder. The second playthrough Win didn't have a problem with him, and Ira was way over leveled and fought him completely solo. And he died pretty fast. His size makes him very weak to incantations, like big alien incantations. This is going to be controversial. I don't think he was as hard as the Godskin Noble. The summons make him a cakewalk. And depending on your build, he can just be a cakewalk. Mog the Omen can go up here. Mog is one of the hardest bosses for me in this game. He's resistant to fire. So Ira is instantly going to struggle against Mog just because he's resistant to fire. When every boss is the same resistance, so every boss is, there's no struggle, it's just all, it all feels similar on Win. Mog was easier on Win. I will admit that Mog was easier on Win. Mog on Ira was a nightmare. Especially solo, no summons, no ashes. And that's just Mog the Omen. Okay, we're getting the last few here. Next, we'll do Morgoth the Omen King. And let's stick him down here above Renala. Just I was way over leveled. Every time I bumped into Morgoth, I was way over leveled. Because I try to do everything. I try to do everything every playthrough. So Morgoth wasn't much harder than, I would say he's easier than Radahn. But that's about all I can say for poor Morgoth. Oh, Loretta Knight of the Halleck Tree. She's not much harder than normal Loretta. There's normal Loretta. I don't know why normal Loretta's blow some of these. We'll put you two up here. You two are, well, fuck. Oh, here. In fact, they're harder than the trees. They're harder than that thing too. They're harder than that fall. They were harder than the fallen star beast. Now, we have a few more. We're getting to the really hard ones. These are the ones that took me forever to beat. And I mean forever. Besides Rykard. Once you figure Rykard out, Rykard becomes easy. I couldn't imagine fighting him without the sword, the Serpent Killer Sword thing. But using the Serpent Killer Sword, Rykard is brain dead. You can literally stagger lock him in his second phase and make it where he can't do nothing besides get hit. I would say Rykard is, we'll put him right here, right below Renala, I guess. Oh, I don't know, the first phase, you know, just because of this first phase, I'm bumping him up here. Because the first phase is actually a little more difficult for me to handle. But the second phase, when he starts to do his big attack that makes all hell break loose in the arena, if you charge up your attack, smack him before he starts that, or while he's starting that, he'll stagger and then start to do it again. So you do it, smack, stagger, start to do it again, and you just catch him and like he can't do nothing. Okay. Now we got a few more. Where's the Elden Beast? Already marked on, already ranked the Elden Beast. What the hell? Alright, rank. Okay, so we're going to rank. I'm gonna rank these in the order, these last few in the order of difficulty. In the order of difficulty, I'm gonna rank these last few. Go ahead and stick you in your rightful place, Rick. Okay. Now, I'm going to start with Radagon of the Golden Order. I thought God, the Blasphemous Blade just melted him alive. Poor Radagon. But I did have to get to the point where I found that out. Like, I'm gonna put him here. Because he can actually cancel some spells out. He does his little arm thing, and he will completely cancel out spells. So, and the fact that he's so resistant to magic helps him against Era. Some of his attacks are a little hard to dodge. I love the boss fight. I wish he had a second harder phase that was the end boss instead of the Elden Beast. I think the Elden Beast is harder than Radagon though. Next hardest for me in my 4 playthroughs, the next hardest is Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. And Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, is going to be up in A. He needs to be way up here. Godfrey's going to be the hardest boss so far that I've ranked. His stomps are really rough. His Horaloo phase is really rough. I actually had to spend some time on him every playthrough. Okay, now we're in the last 3. These three are the hardest. These were the hardest for me in all 4 of my playthroughs. My multiplayer, my Ash, my solo play. I have multiple opinions on them. But I think out of these 3, the easiest one for me is Melania. I'm gonna put her up here. God, it sucks because I don't want to put her in the hardest. I don't want to put her in S tier because fire deletes her. Fire makes Melania nothing. I swear I went to stream this fight on my solo play and Era killed Melania so fast. I mean, it actually, I was dumbfounded how fast she died. It took me 2 tries and she was dead. I'm gonna leave Melania in A because of how easy she is when you use fire against her. If you're not using fire, using a normal melee build, Melania is ridiculously hard. She was ridiculously hard on Wind. It took me a whole day to beat her on Wind. But the fact that you can just delete her with fire, Waterfowl Dance is really the only move you have to worry about. That's really Melania's only move that you do have to worry about. Like she's not hard as far as once you learn her, our attacks feel easy to dodge except Waterfowl, which she just pulls out of nowhere. I don't think Melania is the hard. She wasn't the hardest boss for me, especially in my second year of playthrough. That was bad. I think Malakath is the next hardest. He was slightly harder than Melania. I was stuck on him forever. I didn't even stream myself fighting Malakath because I was getting so mad that I was ready to break something. I do not like Malakath's fight. Oh, I swear it's worse on my faith build. I literally had to stop. I literally had to just use swords. I couldn't throw a spell at him. And I'm lying. Because I'm gonna actually put him below Melania. Because once I got the timing for that Blasphemous Claw, Malakath became so ridiculously easy. He stands there for so long and just lets you punch him while he's trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Which means the hardest boss in my 4 playthroughs, the one that I struggled the most with, is the Lord of Blood Mog. Because this bastard is resistant to fire, so I couldn't even really hurt him. I think I respec for lightning and used lightning incantations, which isn't out of character for Era, so I felt fine doing that. Even on Wind with melee build. Mog, and I forgot I had the shackles. I have Mog shackles, or Mo or Mog. And I forgot I had them. And I was stuck on him for, oh my god, I was stuck on him for so long. What I was stuck on Melania, my first playthrough with Wind, I was stuck on that even longer with Mog single on solo play. Most of these are coming from my solo play because because Melania multiplayer, or if Ashes, well, Ashes are a little different because she can heal off your Ashes, but Melania with multiplayer, her AI does not react good to multiplayer. where if you fight Melania solo, she has input reading. Melania does have input reading if you fight her solo, and it's really hard to hit her with spells when you fight her solo. So you literally have to bait her out with Flame of the Fell God, because she'll jump out of the way and it doesn't even explode, and then she'll walk into it and get blown up. Or you can use the big pillars, which, oh my god, the big pillars delete Melania. Like, those delete her. But yep, this is my list for the hardest bosses in Elden Ring. I think Mog is the hardest boss, especially on someone who's using fire incantations like Hira. Even on melee builds, Mog has a lot of very delayed attacks that are very hard to read when you first fight him. He heals when you get second phase. He heals for a ton. You can negate the damage it does to you, but he still heals. So you basically, in second phase, is full health again. He flies. Any boss that flies is infinitely harder. I think that's about it. That's my ranking for the hardest bosses in Elden Ring.